Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a meeting with a man who's become a friend of mine, and we've known each other for a little while in some very interesting times, and we get along. Our countries get along very well. We have a great affinity for each other, and the Chancellor has been very well received in Germany. He's a very successful man, became the Chancellor of Germany, which is a big deal, and he's doing a very good job. In my opinion, a great job, very popular, and the relationship that we have in trade and everything else has been
that he needs to make it sound like he's speaking to, I don't know. He needs to one-up himself again. That's what it is. Some might say that's good manners. I say that's kind of bullshit.
It's been very strong. We've been able to do our deals, and it's been very strong. We'll obviously be talking a little bit about Iran today, and he's been helping us out. We've been very nice, actually. And that is coming along, as you see, very well. They have no Navy. It's been knocked out. They have no Air Force. It's been knocked out.
Yeah. They do have drones and rockets and missiles, though, which hasn't been knocked out. And as we saw throughout the weekend and yesterday, like, it is not a good thing to be a civilian in that region, thanks to the United States and Israel. But as Trump also said that there's going to be casualties. It is what it is. That is what Trump said. People are going to die. And he's willing to make that sacrifice.
They have no air detection. That's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out. And just about everything's been knocked out. So we'll see how we do. But we're doing very well. We have a great military, and they're doing a fantastic job. So we'll be talking about that. And we're talking about some very big trade deals. And those, I know, will work.
I hope Trump's next vacation is going to be in Jerusalem, like on Friday or Saturday, during the weekend.
Special place, even from your
like within a week.
Some very special places too.
If they're doing such a good job, maybe he should go and like see the front line himself.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having me here in this Oval Office for the third time now.
Yeah.
Really happy to have the opportunity to speak with you in these challenging times.
Trump doesn't have the balls to go to Iran or Israel, that's true. I'm going to make a prediction. If I'm wrong, it's a good thing. If I'm right, it's not a good thing. So let's all root that I'm wrong. But I'm going to say it now that there's going to be boots on the ground. And when the boots are going to be on ground, which is something that if they want to really, really affect change and do a regime change, Trump is not going to send his own sons there. And none of the GOP politicians are going to send their children there. It's going to be normal US citizens that are going to put their children in risk. They are willing to sacrifice everybody else except their own families. Nice hairdo, thanks. Well, at least my hair is real. 100% I hate to say, you're correct. And no Democrat would either, so you have a no point. No, I agree, like dog football. If Democrats started this war, I would use the same argument against Democrats. It was the same thing when Obama attacked Libya. 0 Democrats' children were sent there. In my opinion, all the politicians and powerful people and leaders, their kids should be the first ones on the front line. And they should be on the front line to the end. Whatever your political affiliation is, like, who gives a fuck? If they are willing to wage war, they should be willing to send their own kids there as well. If they're willing to sacrifice normal citizens' children and partners, they should be willing to sacrifice their own. Iran has hit Israel in all areas and American with hypersonic missiles and drone. Hope you're wrong. Why do you think there will be boots on the ground? Because if they just bomb the area, that's not really gonna like do a proper regime change. They need boots on the ground to secure the area, you know? How will Iran respond to boots on ground? The same way as Iraq did. It's gonna be Iraq 2.0 again, if they put boots on the ground. Riffmaster, thanks to follow. There was some explosions around Jerusalem quite a lot, and also Israel bombed quite the. Israel sent quite a lot of their own love towards like Iran, a lot of it. I do find it kind of ironic to listen Netanyahu talking about Iran attacking civilians. I found it almost funny coming from Netanyahu, comparing like, see, they are attacking civilians and we are attacking military targets. That's bold coming from Netanyahu. I think at least one of the reporters should have like shouted like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You don't have a leg to stand on this conversation, Netanyahu. Like, you can't really moralize anybody else on like shooting civilians." My response would have been to Netanyahu, "Why are you using civilians as human shields?" That's sarcasm if somebody doesn't understand, because that's the excuse Israel uses all the time when they're willingly killing children and women. So why are IDF and like Mossad headquarters in the middle of civilian residences? Why are you using civilians as human shields? But of course, I'm not using that because I value human life, but unlike the leaders of Iran and unlike the leaders of Israel. I'm not 100% on board with like just blindly bombarding areas hoping to hit something. Jess, thanks for the follow. Look at the new video out where Mark Mullen talks about this and past presidents tell us he's wrong.
Getting this terrible regime in
Talking about the previous like wars that have been waged.
And we will
I've never been in favor of war.
what will happen then if they are out.
I am not in favor of war.
Talk about our trade
Whoever fucking starts it.
which I would like to be in
Iraq,
as soon as
Libya,
possible.
Syria, Afghanistan.
And we have to talk about Ukraine. There are too many bad guys in this world.
Georgia,
unfortunately.
Ukraine.
And, this is an issue we have to talk about because we all want to see this war coming to an end as soon as possible. But Ukraine has to preserve its territory, and there's
Every Republican president for the
interest,
last 40
we will
years
talk
has started a
about
war in the Middle East.
We will
it. Looking
indeed.
forward to that.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you
That's some
for your
interesting.
hospitality. Thank you for letting me.
A person
spend
from
the
a
night in your
sympathetic,
guest house.
sympathetic
Very,
country
very
telling us all about it.
comfortable
Hello from
place.
Florida again. What up, Jennifer?
Absolutely. Yeah, great place. And a famous place.
U.S. Embassy in Dubai hit.
Former president.
Oh yeah, that actually I had time to read.
Any questions, please?
What's up, Joel? Nothing much. Catching up on all the things that have been going on.
You see, we were having negotiations with these.
U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Oman,
It was
port
my
hit by
opinion
drones.
that they were
U.S.
gonna
base in
attack first. They
Bahrain
were going
targeted.
to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that, and we had
They said the consulate
great
was hit.
negotiators,
Is
great
that
people
the
that do this very
as the
successfully
embassy? Islam
and
want
have done
to
it
have
all
our
their lives
countries,
very
but I don't.
successful. And, based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might.
The funny thing is Trump saying that he thinks they wanted to attack first. That's an important part of Trump's speech to listen to. Trump said that he thinks that they were going to attack. Again, Trump should probably listen to his own intelligence agencies. Pentagon said that they didn't see an immediate threat of an attack. And Trump thinks that he knows better than the Pentagon. Of course, Trump is talking to one of the main warmongers here. So when Trump says that he thinks that they were going to attack, Trump listens to another person who just happened to visit Trump a week earlier, who told them that, hey, they are going to attack and you are going to attack. No, Jess, I think Trump just has his own intelligence. Like, the same thing happened with the alleged drone strike on Putin's residency. He didn't listen to his own intelligence. He listened to Putin. The same thing happens here. He doesn't listen to his own intelligence agencies. He listens to Netanyahu this time. What up, Korki? Happy Tuesday. What up, live for today, 22? Trump is daddy. I don't think he is.
Might have forced Israel's hand, but Israel was ready and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact because virtually everything they have has been knocked out now.
Nah,
Their missile count
Trump is owned by so many different people that he doesn't even decide himself.
Countries that were, let's call them neutral.
It was a group decision, not just by him. I mean, it was a group of anybody else except like the US intelligence agencies. True, that is true. What's the point of like having Pentagon? What's the point of having CIA? What's the point of having like any of the intelligence agencies if he's not going to listen to them? We could like, okay, the United States could save a lot of money if they just like, I don't know, got the funding on all of those. Because apparently they're completely worthless if the president knows better on everything. It's funny to come here to hear some intelligence things, but at the same time something stupid. What? Well, FBI and CIA is not charging. Yeah, I know they are not, but like Trump isn't like even listening to them when it comes to like internal intelligence regarding like internal affairs. He knows better.
A long time. I think.
Where do you need CIA if you got Trump?
And now those countries are all fighting against them and fighting strongly against them.
Checks and balances do not exist to Trump, unfortunately, for the American citizens.
Why they did that, but
exactly, and that's one of the reasons why I've talked in the past that United States would benefit a lot if, like, the president of the United States would be an independent instead of like belonging to a party, and also that president wouldn't have as much leverage on Department of Justice and the two ruling parties. Because if the president didn't belong to either one of the parties would keep the president in check. Vice versa, the president would keep them in check. Then the checks and balances would fucking work.
Countries that had nothing to do with what's going on, they were sort of leaving everything alone.
I think most of COMSI is compromised. There are enough good guys left.
The level of evil that we're dealing with. They'll hit people that were actually at least somewhat friendly, and they had no problem.
Trump was the one who threatened by sending his aircraft carrier and planes to scare Iranian.
Apartment buildings, and we're hitting them.
Trump is doing good now, but he's under Epstein now.
We're hitting them very hard. And
well, if Trump is doing good and he's under Epstein now, then he kinda isn't doing good, I still think that Trump already lost control for military. They will do whatever Israel.
They're going to be in for a lot of hurt.
Israel says.
These are people they killed. I guess it's 35,000. It's coming out 35,000 over the last 3 weeks. Protesters. 35,000.
I would be kind of worried though, being an American, knowing that foreign interest groups and other interest groups have so much leverage on your own president, which is the same thing with Biden and which is the same thing with Obama, George Bush, and everybody prior. But apparently no one gives a fuck. Apparently this is just a norm that every American is okay with. That their president is affected, their politicians are affected by lobbyists and corruption and foreign interest groups. No American citizen gives two fucks about this. Do you mean APAC? APAC is one of them, yeah.
Our military is the #1 in the world by far, and we are, everything's big in my book.
Why do Americans always identify themselves as Republican or Democrat?
Midnight Hammer was big.
Because they have a lazy election, they have a lazy political system. If there were more parties than Republicans and Democrats, like major parties, that would be too much choice. But then again, I've had a discussion with a lot of Americans here in my chat, and there's a lot of nuances in politics that a lot of people don't fit in Republicans or Democrats, because you might find a politician inside Democrats or Republicans that goes in line with you, but then of course the party decides what the actual line is, you know? So American politics is missing the nuance. And it's also easier to divide people to have just two parties. So you can just make those stupid blanket statements that you're a radical left and you're a radical right. I mean, sorry to burst the bubble, if you have two parties, that's way easier to do. That's way easier to demonize the other side. And having people divided makes it easier to control. I'm not obligated to obey or agree with either party. No, you're not. But they're still ruling in the United States, so whether or not you're obligated in your own view, they're still like controlling you. They price us out, we have no power. If we strike, our kids starve, go homeless, and can't see doctors. We want peace on earth without Satan, Yahoo, and Trump. Then only there will be peace.
So, President, what's the worst case scenario that you have planned?
And NATO controls you. Without it, you're Russian. That's a hilarious statement right there.
In Iran?
Well, I don't know if there's a worst case. We have them very much.
But Trump is honest. He said he will secure oil trade by US military ships. That is true. He did say that.
They won't even be able to do that because we're hitting all.
It feels like the little guy in politics gets crushed. It's hard to be independent in America. Cindy, do you know, Sith the Great, how that would be actually fixed? If more and more people understand. Well, let's take America, because we're now having a discussion about America. Especially, it's harder and harder to be a little guy in America. So if more and more people understood that, instead of like fighting against your normal US citizen, like fighting against your neighbor, you should understand that the ones that are actually fucking you are in Congress, are in Senate, and are in the White House. So you need a clean slate in order to have somebody that actually gives a fuck about you. Then you need those checks and balances. For example, if you take bribes, if you take lobbying money, if you take money from lobbyists, that would be an instant fucking lifetime in jail. There should be no fucking lobbying in politics. I'll make this 100% clear again. I've said this many times. Instantly when you take money, when you're a politician, you should be sent to jail for the rest of your fucking life. When you're in politics, you should be working for the citizens, not for yourself, not for your fucking family or your interest group. You should be working for the citizens of that country. You do, Robert, realize that there's 340 something million people in the United States. See what happens. If, like, let's say 60-70% of that mass mobilizes to like against the White House and the Congress and Senate. See what happens. You do have your Second Amendment right to form a militia and arm yourself against the tyrannical government. And because your government at the moment is corrupt and is not working for the better of the citizens, that is a good argument to use your Second Amendment right. There are rumors that Punch died. Is that true? What? Most people don't want to destroy their savings and life for some attempt coup. Don't make it an attempt. That's the issue when it comes to... Stream will end shortly due to violations. Elisa will not like this. Cindy, thanks for the heart. That is true, though. Don't make it an attempt, though. And one of the biggest issues when it comes to like, this is not only an American thing, this is also in Europe. People are fucking selfish. That's like, Robert's comment kind of like perfectly sums it up. Most people don't want to destroy their savings and life for some attempt coup. That mentality is struck so deep in people's brains that they can't see further than their own fucking noses. For example, we are doing relatively well here in Ireland. I am willing to make my life a bit more expensive by, for example, taxes, to make sure that the future generations have a better life. You know, I'm not interested to make my life any better than this. I'm actually willing to give away a bit of my life if that helps making the future generations better. It is baffling to me that we have such selfish adults around the world that are only looking after themselves and not the future generations. But again, I mean, you have the opinion to, you have the like freedom to think what you think. I'm not a typical American. Can I move to Ireland? Of course you can.
Last few years, they had a lot of them. They've shot a lot of them, and we're knocking out a lot.
Ireland is a nice place.
I guess the worst case would be we do this, and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen.
They are in survival mode because most people are barely getting by in the USA. I know that. That I do know.
5 years, you realize you put somebody in who was no better. So I'd like
Hey
to see
Julian, thanks for the
somebody in there that's gonna,
thanks for the sub.
bring it back for the people, and we'll see what happens with the people. You know, they have their chance, and we've said don't do it yet. If you're going to go out and protest, don't do it yet. It's very dangerous out there. A lot of bombs are being dropped. But I would say that would be about the worst.
I will be the dictator's brother.
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, you know, we had some in mind from that group that is dead.
Release the Trump-Steam files.
We have another group. They may be.
I hope Congress has some balls to put Trump in front of the committee as well. Now that Hillary and Bill was there yesterday. No, not yesterday, 2 days ago. And once I saw the videos of like the deposition of both Clintons, I understand why the Republicans didn't want a public one. Some Americans are stooges for the rich that believe in tax cuts for billionaires, and some Americans care about the sick, poor, and elderly. I mean, yesterday we had people in the chat who still believe in trickle-down economics. So, and that they were Americans. Not many. We had, no, not yesterday, 2 days ago. We had 300 and something viewers in the chat, and there were people who actually believed in trickle-down economics, which is baffling in the year 2026 that people still believe that. Then we have the dick riders of the billionaires, which is even worse. Like, people are willing to bend their knee to make sure that the billionaires have more billions for them because they believe that they might one day be there, even though that's a complete fantasy, unless they're super lucky. There's no win for Epstein regimes. Rumble Trumpston, I know your secret name. Trickle-down economics was always a scam. It's the biggest pyramid scheme ever created. But there are people still who believe that. We are still dealing with Reagan trickle-down in Iran and Central America. Trickle-down economics is the fallacy of like giving tax breaks to the super rich, the 1%, the billionaires, that will somehow strengthen the economy and make the middle class have more money, more jobs, and their lives better. Honestly, I wish America had voted in Bernie Sanders. Unfortunately, Bernie, unlike Trump and Biden, understood really early that Bernie is a bit too old to be a president. Bernie said this in 2019. At least he had a spine to admit that he was too old to run. Alisa, you're savvy. Thanks. Sanders is a communist. Then you don't know what a communist is.
Be dead also, based on reports.
That would have sucked. Bernie is just another lifelong politician.
Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody.
That is true.
But, we have,
that is a factual truth. Bernie has
so
been
incredible
a lifelong
because we did the
politician.
attack, and we kept government.
Bernie has had a good
totally
track record of like being on the better side of history. He's had some like really bad takes though. Sanders is not a communist.
100 million barrels of oil already, and a big part of that goes to them, and a big part goes to us. And it's
We have 50 million Muslims in Europe now and 7% white in the world.
And we're going to be running the oil.
What's your point there?
Venezuela's going
I
to
love
have more
Bernie.
money than they ever made, and that's great for the people. The relationship has been.
I love Bernie. Bernie did one mistake once, which I like realized that I was being a bit of a too big of a fanboy, which was like, for a second, Bernie sided with Israel when it came to like the genocide on Palestine. That was like years and years ago, but he came to his senses. Oil mentioned. Well, Gorka, if you wrote a PhD thesis on communism, then your paper is complete bullshit if you say that Bernie Sanders is a communist. God damn. Don't dig your fucking grave any deeper. Love Bernie, but he was just and is too old to run our country. That is exactly true, and that is why Bernie Sanders decided not to run, because he admitted that he's too old. Kame got whooped before GTA 6. Oh my god, he didn't even get to say Grand Theft Auto 6 Punjabi edition. Yep, and bought multiple homes, changed his wording from millionaires to billionaires. He's just... Bernie is democratic socialist, which is essentially capitalist, and the communism is anti-capitalist.
It's been seamless. Nobody's actually ever seen anything like it.
Exactly. Even USSR wasn't communist, especially in the end of days. Is there a big wealth gap between rich and everyone else in London or UK? I mean, it depends where you compare it to, though. But like, there is a big gap, but not as big as it's in the United States. But there is a huge gap as well in the UK.
So we'll see what happens, but first we have to finish off.
Sanders is a democratic socialist, which isn't even a socialist, let alone commie. But like, a lot of people who are throwing like communist doesn't even know what a communist is, or throws the word socialist doesn't really know what a socialist is. And that's why it's easy to like label Bernie Sanders as a communist. Because especially Americans, when they hear the word communism, they have the Red Scare still in their fucking genes. So they are instantly getting... they're getting PTSD from the Red Scare.
I guess some people like him, and we haven't been thinking about too much about that. It would
Just
seem
heard
to me
even
that somebody
rape goes
from
up in
within
places with
maybe
wealth
would be
gap.
more appropriate
Has-
to have said that.
Has true
He looks like a
communism
very
ever
nice
happened?
person.
The reason why true
It
communism
would
never
seem to me
ever is gonna
that
happen
somebody that's
is
there,
because of
that's
humans'
terribly popular, a
tenderness
such
to
a
greed.
person. But we have people like that.
There's
We have
always
people
going to be
who are
one or
moderate,
even a group of people who wants more than
radical
others.
lunatics,
So
and
communism
they
is
get
kind of a
everything. All they
failed
do is
idea even before it started.
What exactly?
You can make variations of it that isn't like as extreme, but in itself it's never going to work.
Are you going to take the heat off the Europeans to potentially help
That's why we believe Trump's BS America has forgotten fascism.
you? And
What does that mean?
well, you have to ask Mark Rutte. He said not as part of NATO, but to be helpful to you in this. And will
Well,
you
some
let
of the
you-
European nations have been helpful, and some have.
I understand you want a communist system.
Very surprised.
I mean, Korka, I don't understand. Like, do you have
He's been,
like problem on like hearing, or do you have issues with understanding the words that are coming out of my
the head
mouth?
of
But
NATO, Mark
did I
has been
say
fantastic. Mark
I want a
Rutte,
communist system?
I think he's fantastic, but some of the European, like Spain, has been terrible. In
I do
fact,
agree
told
Iranian woman can be
Scott
freed tomorrow.
to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases, and that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it.
Trump almost made an actual human sentence saying that Spain didn't allow them to use their bases, which is okay. But then he had to again, because it's an attack against his ego, to just admit that, okay, well, Spain doesn't want us to use our bases. So he does what he has been doing since the fucking 80s, which is never admit anything, never admit defeat, attack, evade, attack, attack, attack. He could have ended it there and just like continue on his ramble. But his ego doesn't let it happen.
Nobody's going to tell us not to use it.
There you go.
We don't have-
Nobody's going to tell us not to use it. A narcissistic buffoon can't just like let that happen. That's, for example, if you want to see Trump like lose his shit, you say somebody else is making decisions instead of him. Every single time he loses his shit, he needs to explain that he's actually making the decisions. And he even thought about the decisions even before the other person. He's the best decision maker ever. There's never been a better decision maker than him. He's the fortune teller that nobody knew about. You have to remember that Trump, what was it? Trump warned about Osama bin Laden before 9/11. Was it that? What was the exact statement that Trump used? I think it was kind of on the line of that. Yeah, so he mentioned he wrote it in his book that he warned about Osama bin Laden, and he didn't. And he didn't. What a fucking idiot. And people are still behind him. After a national catastrophe, the biggest fucking terror attack, one of the biggest terror attacks ever, especially the biggest terror attack on US soil if we don't count Pearl Harbor. And he needs to take credit from that. Make up bullshit and take credit of that. And people are like, oh, that's a good thing. Yes. This is the president I want to vote for. A person who takes advantage of one of the biggest tragedies in United States history. Are you a Muslim? No, I'm not. I'm an atheist, if anybody's interested. I don't understand why people are interested in my religious background, but like, yeah, I'm an atheist. I used to be a Christian. I was brought Christian, but I'm an atheist. After reading quite a few like religious books and scriptures, it kind of makes the becoming atheist a bit easier. There are good stories though, don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of good stories in like different religions. But after you read a few of them, you kind of understand that they're just fucking stories made by humans. But if you want to believe, that's your own thing. Religion should be your personal thing, not in politics. Lutheran Christian, because I'm Finnish. It is a really, really niche form of Christianity. Lutheran Christian. It's like, if you want to dumb it down, it's a Protestant.
Have to, but they were unfriendly. And so I told him we don't want to. Spain.
One of my favorite, like, if you really want to understand the silliness of religions, one of my favorite religious books is the Book of Mormons. 100%, I recommend reading that. It is a good book, though. But you need to take it as entertainment value. You can't take it too seriously. But 100% recommend you reading the Book of Mormons.
They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
John Smith gave them a book that nobody else see.
And I'm not, by the way, I'm not happy with the UK either.
You see these Americans in the chat
That
doing
island that you
China's
read
bidding
about,
and
the
promoting
lease,
it.
Okay, he made it for whatever reason. He made a lease.
What are they
for the
promoting?
island. Somebody came and took it away from him, and it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land.
Stick it in. Thanks for the follow.
To flying many extra hours, so we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
Hey man, is Trump live? No, I think this meeting was like 2 hours ago. I wouldn't say China is a complete failed state, though. But I'm not gonna paint it as a like beautiful utopia, because I've been following the Uyghur Muslim situation in China. I've been for Taiwan and Hong Kong and Tibet for a long time. China isn't a utopian wonderland, but it is not a failed state either. China is doing something, though, that United States will not do under Trump, which is stupid. China is utilizing your renewable energy to the maximum. And that will benefit in the future. Not necessarily now, but in the future. It is already benefiting at the moment, but it will more and more in the future. Which is gaining energy independence from fossil fuels. That is something that I need to give China credit, though. But it is not a utopian wonderland. Yes, China has all of the above environmental policy. It's building more of everything. That is true. So I understand, because like the reason why Trump hates renewable energy is quite simple. He's lobbied by the fossil fuel companies and the fossil fuel industry. But if Trump was actually smart, he would understand the benefit of renewable energy. But any American who promotes a society that has one leader for 40 years is embarrassing. I agree 100%. That's why I'm against Russia. Like, not Russia, I'm against Kremlin and Putin. It's not 40 years, but it's getting close to 40 years. It's getting close to 40 years. If you cared about the average American instead of the oligarchs, 100%. Robert, thanks for the heart and also for the roses.
Towards Germany, what can Germany do and what should Germany do to help you in this conflict?
What's the current situation? Well, Trump is giving a speech, but there's been a lot of bombing in Iran. More than 44,000 travelers in the United Arab Emirates to be repatriated. Huh? How the fuck do you pronounce that word? Ayatollah Ali Khamenei will be buried in holy city of Mashhad. No reports on when. Dubai says no casualties reported in drone-related incident near US consulate. The Dubai media office says no injuries have been reported following a drone-related incident around the US consulate. Dubai authorities have confirmed that fire resulting from drone-related incident near the US consulate has been successfully contained. Emergency team responded immediately. No injuries have been reported. Virgin Atlantic to resume London-Dubai flights. So if anybody in the UK wants to go to Dubai and see this madness live, you can always fly to Dubai. I wouldn't recommend it though. But if you want to fly to Dubai, Virgin Atlantic is going to fly you from London. Are you on Iran's side? No, I'm on the side of the citizens of Iran. But then again, being on the side of citizens of Iran doesn't mean that I need to be on the side of Israel and USA. The same thing that I can be criticizing Putin, Russia, and be pro-Palestine, and at the same time being pro-Iran's people. Those are not contradicting each other. My friend is in Dubai now. I mean, I've seen also videos from Dubai, but that's what I said. If you want to see, like, closer, fly to Dubai. Why can't people just be on the side of humanity? That's exactly why I'm on the side of, like, the citizens of Iran. They've had a horrible regime for years. That doesn't mean that a regime change from fucking USA and Israel is a good thing. Israel has killed tens of thousands of women and children. And civilians. They're not really somebody that should be looked up to. Kremlin and Putin has oppressed their citizens for a long time. And they started a war with Ukraine. That's just the cherry on top of the cake. We do remember that they also started with Georgia back in like before 2010. I think 2008, 2009. So it's really easy to be consistent when you're just constantly, you know, as who said it? Who said on the side of humanity? Just a second. Somebody says that, are you Modern Lady Godiva? It is really easy if you just value human life. You don't need to think about, oh my god, is this a left or a right wing issue? You're just on the fucking side of human lives. It is not difficult, you know? Can you be on the side of Iranian people and not on the side of the American? Yes, you can. What America is doing, what the United States and Israel is doing, they want to change the regime, not to the one that the Israeli people want. They want to change it to the one they want. As Trump said even in the interview we were listening to, they had already candidates that they wanted to take over Iran. Unfortunately, they're all dead now, but unfortunate for Trump. So now they need to think about the next leaders they want to take over Iran. You think that they're gonna let anybody run that? No, even fucking drunken Hexet said the same thing. They're not just gonna let anybody run Iran, because then we will be in the situation again. You know, even drunken fucking Jägermeister Hexet said the same thing. Rainbow Forest. That is what I've been saying ever since day one. If Iran wants a regime change, they have to do it themselves, not with foreign intervention, and especially not with foreign entities meddling with their internal affairs. Invisible Jewel, thanks for the follow. I 100% agree with that. I'm going to pin your comment. That was such a good comment. Thank you. Hey, I could have had a mustache by we, and I didn't see that. It was on my left screen, and I didn't see my hat and mustache. Sorry about that. Thing is, like you mentioned, people are greedy. Greed doesn't care about other people. That is true. But that doesn't mean I need to mold myself on that. I hope, at some point, I hope. This is the thing, like, when USA attacked Venezuela and we were having a conversation and there was a bunch of, like, MAGA people in the chat screaming that, well, the strong take what they want and this is the new world order and this is how it's always been. The strong take what they want and the weak just cry. We live in the fucking year 2026 and we haven't evolved as a human species. We haven't evolved as a species at all. We're still thinking like fucking cavemen. You're a Muslim nation now. You should side with them, Sodom and Gomorrah. What the fuck are you talking about, Tip Top? Ireland isn't a Muslim country. Gorka Mao and Stalin, yeah, they belonged to a communist party, but that's why it wasn't like pure communism, because they kind of abused the system. So after that, it transforms to something else. UK is. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's, for example, like people who are cheering. Hey, there's a bunch of people in the chat now who are on side of Iran, right? Say yes if you're on the side of the people of Iran. Just a bit of a test. So you're on the side of Iran that they need to get rid of their evil regime. Yes? Yes. All right. So we got a bunch of yeses. Are you on the side of Palestine? Not Hamas, but the people of Palestine. Because they're also being killed by an evil regime, slaughtering civilians, babies, and women and children. So are you also on the side of Palestine? Yeah, Ukraine is going to be the next one. Yes. And then, of course, we're on the side of Ukraine as well, right? As long as I'm not paid, then yes. I am not getting paid to say any of this. I have always said that there is no amount of money to provide to me to change my political views. If I believe in something, I'll do it for free. If somebody wants to pay me to talk freely, go ahead, but you will not force any words from my mouth. And that is something that politicians should do. I'm not a politician, but that's something that especially politicians should do. If you're a social democrat or a communist, you can tell us. Ireland is collapsing like the UK. Tip Top, shut the fuck up. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. Like, Ireland is doing just fine. Yes, but Ukraine should take peace of it. They can't get back what they lost. Not even for $20. Ah, damn, Logie. I mean, $20 is $20. Where you been, man? I've been here all along. $20 is $20 though. I mean, if it's $20 in a freshly baked tiramisu, If it's $20 and a freshly baked tiramisu, then I might have actually, like... How is immigration in Ireland, matey? It's doing quite fucking fine. I'm an immigrant myself in Ireland. This is the funniest topic ever. Yes. Tip top, if you want to see something really, really interesting, do Google or use ChatGPT or whatever AI you use and find out how much are immigrants getting paid if they come to Ireland. I would even argue that's fucking criminally low. It's not even enough to survive. Inflation is crazy now. $20 is not $20 anymore. That is true, though. You waste your time here. He will never say the truth. Korka, there's no immigration issue in Ireland. Like, I don't know what the... Like, literally. There is now, like, boatloads of people coming here. And again, I'm an immigrant. I live in a town that has 10,000 people. And there's a lot of immigrants here. And there's a lot of locals here, living in harmony, side by side, from all different cultures. Denial is not reality. I lived in Middleton, Ireland for a few months, ended up coming back to the US. Daily expenses allowance, 38 euros a day. And then if you think about how much the rent is here. And it's capped. Yeah. Have a great day, liberals are destroying the world. No, I do think that at the moment it's Trump and MAGA idiots that are destroying the world, literally. Tip top, you have a delusion, and I would highly recommend you to seek help. I'm on the side of Ukraine, but what was caused by Biden? What was caused by Biden? Well, not that much, because Biden wasn't there, to be fair. Like, Biden wasn't there 3 years out of the 4 years he was president. Ireland is a great example of how to attract work-based immigrants. True. It's hard moving to a new country. Cindy, as a person who moved from Finland to Ireland, of course, it is a bit easier for us who are inside Schengen in EU to move to a different country. It is not as difficult as, for example, I have a lot of like employees from Japan and India that they need to have working visas to come to Ireland. So it's more difficult for them to move here than, for example, me to move here. Me and my family. I have 2 daughters and a wife. Us moving here was way easier than people outside of Schengen. The hardest part is to get used to the new beer brands. I think the hardest part was to get used to the traffic. Like on the traffic being on the wrong side of the road was the hardest to get used to. Turkish foreign minister says Iran regime change would bring risk for the region. Turkish foreign minister Hakan Fidan says the US should limit its attack to Iran to degrading its military capabilities. Forcing regime change would cause risks for the entire Middle East. Attacking military targets and regime change were the two main options for the war. Moving toward the second regime change means introducing very different scenarios and risk for the region, he said. I almost died a couple of times driving through Ireland. London is one of the safer Western capitals. I mean, in every single fucking city around the world, there are good parts and there are bad parts. There are criminals and there are people who don't do crime. If you want to categorize them, if you want to put them in your own little boxes to tick that, hey, these are immigrants and these are not immigrants, how are you basing that information? Of course, you can read the police statistics. That's the best source of information. But if you're basing your information on, like, I don't know, by statistics, you know, the big bad numbers that don't lie. But then again, like, there are a lot of people who are basing their initial thoughts about a crime of the picture they see, and if they see a different color person, they're probably an immigrant, even though they might be a citizen. But then again, if they're citizens, like a lot of Reform UK voters are saying, they're not still a citizen of the United Kingdom or Great Britain. Because then they move the goalpost that you need to have like heritage and your lineage in the country for centuries. Okay, so how far back are we going? At this point, we should just create a education called making bombs. I mean, a lot of Finnish youth knew how to make bombs back in the 90s and 2000s. We had a thing called Anarchistin keittokirja, I think it was. It was like the cookbook of an anarchist. There was a lot of people who knew how to do bombs. Trump says US Navy to escort tankers through Strait of Hormuz if necessary. I mean, shouldn't the Navy do something more important if they have a war going there than secure oil? They should just finish the job faster, right? I was just into crunch music in the 90s. Yeah, in the meanwhile, some of us were building bombs, though. It's all about the money. Exactly, like, that is where his interests are. He starts shit, starts a war. Oh no! World's oil is down by 20%. Must secure that oil. Why are you telling me this is about oil? We have a lack of ovens problem. What? Where was the UN? The UN watchdog said that their finding was that they weren't actually building a nuclear bomb, which is the same finding they had last summer. So are they saying that Trump is lying? We have a lack of lampshade problems too. Don't worry, Trump will reduce the oil prices by 600%. Those are rookie numbers, 12,000%, the 1,200%. Trump says US Navy to escort tankers. Top GOP senator says that Trump will not need congressional approval for military actions against Iran. I think the president was perfectly within his rights to take the steps that he took, Thune said ahead of a briefing by top administration's officials on the US-Israeli war. The top Republican emphasized that Trump administration did brief the Gang of Eight, which included House of Senate and leadership for both parties. It's the fucking semantics of like tiptoeing around. Is it a war or is it a special operation? Trump said it's a war. Hexet say it's a war. Rubio says it's not. Caroline Levitt says it's not. So Trump told a lie because he wipes his ass with the Constitution. Trump doesn't take advice or permission from his own mother. I think that's one of the reasons, Andre Maria, why Trump fucked the porn star while Melania was pregnant. Because he didn't listen to his mother. What a Christian. What a role model. If they won't listen to you, you can hit them with your purse. As one can do preemptive war, can't we get preemptive midterms? He could join his mother now. Brutal. Oh, Laugi, I love that. As one can do preemptive wars, can't we do preemptive midterms? Yeah, that should be the next thing the Democrats do. All right, let's start the midterms now. That would be interesting to see what the results would be. On the height of Trump's fuckery, his admin doxing Epstein victims, protecting Epstein's inner circle and PDFs, starting a war with Iran. This would be the perfect time to do midterms now. We need to get the midterms before they get us. Yeah, it would be a defensive midterm. The midterms have the right to defend themselves. I had one more, but I'm not going to say it though. I had one more like joke about the midterms though. Where all y'all getting your trustworthy info from? As an American, it's not really on the news.
Country, I have a very good relationship.
There's
with
a
the country. We have
really good
now with this new leader. I think he's an excellent leader.
When it comes to Iran, for example, there's a really good web page that one of my viewers provided us not last time, but one of the times, which is gathering all the information regarding Iran and providing you everything you might need from all sources, so you can make up your own decision and read as much information as you want to. All these people were taught with history and tried to follow some of the great ones. However, these people were special. They wouldn't be accepted in today's society. Slavery has been abolished. Most land is owned. Maga 2026 be like, I got so much Trump merch I cannot afford to leave now. I found news on YouTube from other countries. Yeah, it's easier to access news when you're not in the United States because, no offense, United States, but a lot of your news agencies are owned by the mega rich that are also, politicians' donors. So they're kind of controlling the narrative there. Not throwing my tinfoil hat on me, but they are kind of controlling your narrative. But for example, if you go iranmonitor.org, you can literally find everything you want about Iran. No censorship, no nothing. Literally, looking at the latest headlines, 15 minutes ago, the Jerusalem Post about Iran, Middle East Monitor, Axios, The Guardian, Reuters, Politico, The Hill, Al Jazeera, The Guardian, Haaretz. So it has news from both sides of the aisle. The National UAE, Vox.com. So IranMonitor.org is my go-to. And I'm still not 100%. It hasn't given me like a virus or anything. But if you have protest also in the country you're citing it, you can find all the protests there, which is kind of handy. And not just Iran protests. Did you know there's an International Women's Day global rally in New York City Sunday, March 8th at 2 p.m. in Washington Square Park? Just saying. In Sweden, there is weekly solidarity rally, Dan Nitten Tilpakka, Take Back the Night, International Women's Day demonstration. Ireland, we have also International Women's Day demonstration in Dublin, and weekly rally against the Islamic Republic. Organize an independent Iranian community, Ireland. Is that a code name for coup? Yes, it is. I know, everything is just so damn censored, I know. I love Jerusalem Post. There was a few pretty spicy opinion pieces in Jerusalem Post a few weeks ago. No, a month ago about the Palestine situation, and they got deleted from their website. Talking about like, maybe this isn't defense anymore. My Iranian friend has not replied to me in 4 days. I'm aware her Wi-Fi is probably off, but I'm worried. Did you see both Clintons' deposition? Yes, I did. Yes, I did see. I didn't realize Bill Clinton is such a fucking boomer. How embarrassing for the Clintons. Explain. I didn't watch the full thing. I watched the highlights. I'm not sitting through hours and hours of like fucking Clintons denying things. But I didn't know that Bill Clinton is such a fucking boomer that he doesn't really use emails. Okay. Fucking weirdo. Bubba Clinton was lying. That would have been the best ending of the day. Like, Bill Clinton would have dropped the bomb that he has the fucking video of Donald Trump sucking his dick. That would have been, like, literally the best thing ever. Everybody was waiting there, right?
You're hurting your country with immigration, and you're hurting your country with energy. And we have a man...
I mean, at least that's what I was waiting for.
Pretty much the opposite of her on energy and the opposite of
that was the only thing I was waiting for.
I think he's doing very well.
Commercial air travel right now is severely restricted in the Middle East, and thousands of Americans are stranded. Why wasn't there an...
Wait a second. Not necessarily that, but something. I mean...
It all in your mind?
I guess he has some people like him, and we haven't been thinking about too much about that. It would seem to me that somebody from within maybe would be more appropriate. I've seen somebody from within maybe would be more appropriate. I've said that.
Trump is not considering Reza Pahlavi for the next Iranian leader, which is going to be devastating for like Iranians outside of Iran who are lobbying for Reza Pahlavi. But Trump did a bit of a Freudian slip there, because Reza Pahlavi isn't appropriate for his mind. They want somebody that is popular, which means that popular meaning like getting approval from Netanyahu. If this leader is popular enough for Netanyahu, popular meaning easily to control and easily to stick with the program.
He looks like a very nice person, but it would seem to me that somebody that's there, that's currently popular, if there's such a person. But we have people like that. We have people that were more moderate. You know, these were radical lunatics, and you know what they get? They get nothing. All they do is kill people.
So this is all about like just, oh my god, that's just, I feel bad about every civilian who dies in this fucking conflict. Literally just two people fucking up everything. In a week's time, we be discussing whether we should pardon the Epstein clients so we can get world peace. I mean, I do have that video of like how the meeting with Trump and Netanyahu went. I don't think I can show it anymore. I've been showing it too much already. Of course, if you guys want to see it, the I have like secret footage from a press conference that what's the real reason USA attacked Iran. I think it's that time of the day again. Just a second. I'll go find my evidence. Yeah, show it. I'll show you guys.
Oh, Donald, why haven't you attacked Iran yet? If you don't attack soon, I will release the Epstein files.
Okay, BB, I'll do whatever you want.
So, whenever you're in doubt, whenever somebody questions why is the United States in Iran, just remember this video. I try my hardest not to remember that, but it is kind of already burned into my mind. And the funny thing is, there are people here. Gullible progressives will claim that was a real video. That was a real video. What the fuck are you talking about? That was literally their last meeting that nobody saw the press conference from. Yesterday, Rubio said the US didn't want to attack Iran, but Israel forced them. That's the press conference. Like 2 weeks ago, when Netanyahu visited Trump again, when you didn't get the press conference, that's the press conference. That's why you didn't get it. That was definitely real and not AI. 100%. Let her take people to court for slander, and let's see if she wins the case. It'll probably come out as real proof, not slander, and that means that can be taken to real court. Disconnect from things as they really are. AI is evidence for far left. You must be really, really, really fun in parties. Joshua Keith, you must be really fun at parties. If it was AI, it would have to say that. Totally real. 100%. Like, didn't you see? Trump was as orange as usually, and as normally, Trump was definitely behind Netanyahu. Netanyahu was definitely behind. Trump is the one taking it. Netanyahu is the one giving it. Like, I'm sorry, but all the fact checks like match. Brain rot. No, it's 100% real. Of course, I do have some real evidence. This is something that Joshua Keefe doesn't want to see, but I mean, we do have also this banger. Just a second, I'll bring it up. Oh, first, it's this one.
We'll start a war with Iran. Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran.
Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. No, I think I have it in Discord, though.
Could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Once Saddam has nuclear weapons.
Is this from 1986? I think it ended on the 1995, but I've seen the 1986 one as well. How low is your testosterone level? I have so much testosterone that I once killed a coyote. Like 10 points for Gryffindor for the person who knows what movie that is from. By all the radicals crying death to America over the past 40 years. Like, did they start a war with United States? Can you please give summary about this whole situation in Iran? Yes. In 1995, Netanyahu said that Iran is weeks away from a nuclear bomb. In 2006, Netanyahu said that Iran is days away from a nuclear bomb. In 2012, Netanyahu said that Iran is weeks away from a nuclear bomb. In 2015, Netanyahu said that Iran is days away from a nuclear bomb. In 2018, Netanyahu said that Iran is weeks away from a nuclear bomb. And in 2025, Netanyahu said Iran is days away from a nuclear bomb. And actually yesterday in Hannity, Netanyahu again said that Iran was really close for a nuclear bomb. So if you want a summarization, what's going on in Iran and why we are in Iran, there you go. Sounds like Iran is waiting to receive their nukes from the... Yeah, exactly, Laugi. That is like I'm waiting for a package from Anpost. Hey, Joshua Keefe, I don't really want to be a burst of your, like, I don't know what like delusion you have there, but I'm not a Democrat, though. Shitya the Great, thanks for the follow. Count how many times Iran said that they have nuclear weapons, but they didn't. If they had nuclear weapons, United States and Israel wouldn't have attacked it. And also the UN watchdog released that they don't have nuclear weapons. So that's why North Korea exists. Why do you think that North Korea hasn't been taken over? And why do you think that they're attacking Iran? Is it just my page? Your page, what? There's a reason why a country in Middle East can just bomb surrounding countries without any fear. I don't think any country should have nuclear weapons, but as long as people have countries have nuclear weapons, the best defense against the nuclear power is nuclear weapons. I mean, it's kind of self-evident, isn't it? I can't see anything. What? Mine is working fine. What is happening? Am I already getting destroyed by Larry Ellison? good old-fashioned Larry Ellison, the biggest individual donor of IDF. Also known as, if you're an individual donor of IDF, you have some blood in your hands. Let's try and change the scene, if that helps. Am I back?
Strike Iran, and that's why we needed to get involved. Today, the president said that Iran was going to get...
Yeah, your statement is
frozen.
That's not what I was asked very specifically. Were you there yesterday?
Yes, I asked
okay.
a question.
No, were you the one that... Because somebody asked me a question yesterday. Did we go in because of Israel? And I said...
Interesting.
And I said, no.
I mean, it is censorship, probably.
Anyway. The president made a decision, and the decision he made was that Iran was not going to be allowed to hide behind its ballistic...
Works fine. Thanks, Dr. Duncanstein.
Maybe
this is for the Americans. Imagine if that was the case.
Decision to systematically destroy this terroristic capability that they had, and we carried that out. I was very clear in that answer. This was a question of timing, of why this had to happen as a joint operation.
Please let me know.
Question of the intent. Once the president made a decision that negotiations were not going to work, that they were playing us on the negotiations, and that this was a threat that was untenable, the decision was made to strike them. That's what I said yesterday, and you guys need to play it. If you're going to play these statements, you need to play the whole statement, not clip it to reach a narrative that you want to do, all right?
Are you kidding me? It's happening a lot lately. But all the Europeans say it's okay. Frozen in Chicago, US frozen. Oh, this is brutal. I didn't know it works like this. Maybe it was the Netanyahu video though. Larry Ellison, you're watching this stream now. So, fuck you. Maybe you need to say something nice about the IDF. Oh god, I can't say anything nice about the IDF. Okay, I'm gonna say something nice about Israel. The citizens of Israel deserve peace and security. That's why they need to get rid of their evil regime. There you go. The citizens of Israel deserves peace and that they are not being threatened. So they need to get rid of Netanyahu and the whole fucking Israeli government. American freedom of speech. I mean, it is a freedom of speech for some, but not for all. TikTok is trying to preach the bad. This is bullshit. Who says that in Europe? Okay. I'm in US and it's frozen. So TikTok is freezing me in the United States. Oh god, I feel bad for the Americans. But to be fair, there was a moment when Americans weren't allowed in my streams at all. And I haven't received any information from TikTok that it's limited or anything. Oh, well, I know what video I'm making today. It's again a video bashing Larry Ellison and fucking censorship of TikTok. Bad. I mean, imagine that. Being on the side of humanity and being on the side of like not wanting people to die. And TikTok deems that to be not appropriate to the Americans. He will kick you out at some point. He will eventually, probably. Maybe I need to make a montage of Larry Ellison's, like, victims. How many have died for the bombs he's signed or donated to the IDF? He's donated millions to the IDF. And those millions have been used to kill children, babies, and innocent lives. And that is the owner of TikTok at the moment. And that is Trump's good friend. All right. I'll call it a day actually now then. We'll continue tomorrow, hopefully better. I'll make a video, so remember to go watch that and share it and like the fuck out of it. So Larry Ellison will get pissed. It will be out probably within the next hour. Thanks everyone who joined. Laugi, Dr. Duncanstan, all of the usuals. I appreciate you. And every single American also. Thanks for the Americans. Even though you got censored. But we'll